Hi, I'm John. Today we're going to take and remove the motor and replace the motor in an Eltool. This is a Cat 50. The same information will apply to Cat 40, HSK, any of the normal shanks we have. I've already removed the head and the adapter plate. If you want to see how exactly that's done, you can go and look at our video on flipping the reaction ring, and that's covered in detail. We're going to take out the clamp plate and the thrust washer, and we're going to see inside there we've got the motor rotor. In this case the rotor is fine, in your case it might be seized up. We can be taking this apart to clean it if you've got something in there and got it stuck, or if we need to replace it. If it's just being replaced, this should lift out easily. We're going to try to keep the balls from falling out of there. That is the rotor. The reaction ring goes around the rotor, and we're going to pull out the big needle bearing that all that rides in. This one came out easy. You may have to get underneath that with a little slide hammer. On the bottom of the rotor, apparently the thrust washer is stuck on that. So you've got a thrust washer that goes under the rotor, and another thrust washer that goes under the reaction ring. Now inside here we've got the pintle, and we want to note the location of the hole in the top of the pintle, and we're going to, the big hole, we're going to mark that on here. You can put that in two ways. One way is the way it is there now, and it'll run in the right direction, and the other way is going to run in the wrong direction. There's 4 screws holding the pintle in. We're going to remove those 4 screws. And the pintle will just fit into the 4 little screws. And the pintle will pull out of there. It's a little counter bore, and you'll see there's an O-ring underneath it. That's the only seal in the entire shank. So now we have a rotor, pintle, and all the pieces for the motor here. Make sure it's out of your way. Now this rotor has to fit the pintle and rotate freely. If it's stuck, you're going to have to polish this. This is held to a very, very tight tolerance. And when we say polish, we mean polish. We don't mean wrap a piece of 50 grit around there and start sanding on it, and very delicately take any high spots off of there until that rotates freely. Make sure that's good and clean. The top of the rotor, we're going to take our felt pin again. We're going to pick out one of the top ball holes. We're going to put a number 1 there, and they're going to put an A next to it, and the next ball hole is going to be a number 2. If we're going to take the balls out of the rotor so we can work on the bore here, then we need to keep them in the order they came out. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to take an Allen wrench. We can reach inside here and see if the ball's nice and tight or stuck, or if that hole needs to be cleaned, if you're having a problem with the motor's locked up. You have a block here with 7 little detents in one row and 7 little detents in another. And we're going to take ball number 1 and push it out of the rotor. We're going to take ball number 1 and push it out of the rotor, and it's completely unrehearsed. There we go. And sticking in hole number 1 on the plate. You can make this out of a piece of 2x4. Ball number 2 goes in spot number 2, just like that. You can make it out of a piece of plastic like we did, or if you like, you call me and I'll have one made for you by Jim. That one only cost me about $2,000. We go down here to B. The first ball, we marked it B, or A, excuse me, and we put A in there, B in there, and we would put all 14 balls, and then we can take and work on this rotor and make sure it fits and all that sort of thing. If you have a ball that's stuck, if you just go through here and check and you find a ball and you're pushing them in and out and you find one that's stuck, you take the ball out, spray the hole with a solvent. This is a layout remover dye. You spray that. Take a Q-tip and clean the hole, and you'll find the offending particles on the Q-tip. Once all the balls have been removed, they're all free, they're all moving like they should be, they're free on the rotor, then we can put this back in the tool. Or if you're just going to replace the motor, you can take the new motor, the rebuilt motor, and put that back in. So we're going to reassemble the balls into this. I didn't go through and clean each one, but I'm sure you have better things to do to watch me repeat that process 14 times. So we are going to now take the first thing that's going to go into my shank, which I hid over here, is my pintle. I've got 4 little screws that go in him. We'll put them in here first so we don't have to fish around when we get down in there. We're going to note the location of the big hole and line him up with the mark that we made on the top here. And set him down in there. And we'll wind our 4 little cap screws. You're going to tighten these. I'm just going to snug them up in the interest of time. We have got a big thrust washer that goes big thrust washer, little thrust washer around the pintle. We're going to drop our rotor back on the pintle. Put our needle bearing, reaction ring, thrust washer, clamp ring, backer plate. I think this is a McGinnis book records for putting one of these back together. Backer ring and head. That's how you replace the motor.